Hey man, listen, this Nate's guy we about to bring on, man, the Cat's Corner podcast, man. The Maestro. I'm telling you, this guy was entertaining. He worked, listen, I think he made friends with James Brown too. We worked together a few times, man. This guy been all over the world as a wrestler. And so many fans been asking me, when you gonna bring the Maestro on? So I tell you what, baby, he's here now.
We're Resite. Of course we offer all-inclusive site work. We're Resite. Of course we have a dynamic site crew. We're Resite. We have secure foundations. We're Resite. Of course we're good stewards. Resite redefines the way site work is done. Contact us at resite.com. It's re-site.com.
Yeah, bring him on. Let's talk to Maestro. Maestro, what's up, baby?
Hey, Cat. How you doing, brother?
Man,
good to see you, man.
Hey, Maestro, I tell you, man, it's so good to see you. I'm glad you're here, man. Big Ray wanted to talk to you, my co-host, but his wife making him clean the yard or something.
Yeah.
But Big Ray, so what have you been up to, Maestro?
I'm just grateful to be here by the grace of God. I've had a really difficult couple years recovering from a coma, surgery, food poisoning 3 times, you name it.
Wait a minute. Food poisoning 3 times?
3 times, yeah.
Didn't you learn from the first one you might not want to eat that again? Or was it 3 different things?
Well, I was just being served bad food where I was at.
Oh, man.
And it was tough. And then it got to be too much to the point where, with all that going on, I mean, I almost didn't make it quite a few times. But, Jesus said no. And I'm here. And I'm in a much safer environment. And I got a good group of doctors helping me out. So
you look good, man. You look strong. You look strong. And I'm glad you're here, man. I'm glad you took the time to be here, man. And I hope things get better for you.
Thank you so much.
We here at the Cat's Corner love you. If anything we can do for you, and we got fans, if you want to go out and reach out to them, let them know where they can find you at, do that. Anytime you want to during this next couple of minutes. I'm going to just take up your time, and I'm going to ask you about your wrestling career.
Absolutely.
And how did you get started? And what year did you get started in wrestling?
Oh man, what a journey! It was. I actually got started in like the late '80s, like towards '89. I was collegiate wrestling at the time. I was training to be a pro wrestler, which I kind of kept the 2 separate for reasons that I didn't think the collegiate team would like me trying out for a pro wrestling deal. But yeah, at the time there was like 2 schools that I went to. The one school I was trained by Nelson Royal. It was arguably one of the greatest junior heavyweights of his era, and Gene Anderson, part of the original Minnesotan crew. Him,
Gene Anderson, yes.
And Lars,
yeah, he one of my favorite, man.
Oh yeah, oh my gosh, stories I could tell you about Gene. And on the other side,
tell me a story about Gene.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, there's 2 of them. I'll tell you real quick. Once, it was during my tryout match. After doing my training, right, and which I thought I was in shape because anybody knows anything about amateur wrestling knows you train like a track star, cardio galore, right? And I thought I was in shape. I was lean and mean, but I was sucking wind just like everybody else that tried out. And I got in the ring, and Gene Anderson was there. He wanted me to wrestle, right? And like at the time, I never had a pro wrestling match in my life. So and I threw one of the most god awful drop kicks you ever seen in your life. I just threw my legs in it was terrible. And Gene was like, "No, kid, wrestle, right?" And the light bulb came to my head. I was like, okay. So I took the guy down, cradled him up, and they gave the guy who was in the ring with a hard time afterwards to other wrestlers, you know. But another deal with Gene Anderson was where Gene's had what you call tendon strength, kind of like not mountain climbers have, where you can like balance yourself on a few fingers, and they're deceptively strong, right? They don't look it, but man, they grab you and you just want to cry. Mm-hmm. And he had, certain people, in the business,
almost like Mark Henry grip.
Yes, like absolutely. Yes. And I've seen this big one of the guys that was training at the time with him. Well, a big muscular guy, about 250. Big arms, chest, or whatever. He thought he could mess around with Gene, and Gene literally grabbed his thumb and had this big guy on his knees crying to let him go. And I was like, wow, it was pretty wild.
He was a heck of a wrestler, man. And I mean, yes. A great character.
Now, I remember doing
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I remember one time I'm training in the ring, right? And I have an arm bar on the guy in the ring, and Gene kept wanting me to lay it in and be more aggressive with the arm bar, right? And I just looked the guy in the ring and said, I got to do this because I don't want Gene coming and stretching me like a rubber band. So.
Oh, man. Oh my goodness!
And the other side of the town where I was at, which was in Mooresville at the time, on the side towards Charlotte. Another side was Ivan Koloff's school.
Oh, listen, bro. How long did you train with him? Cause listen, I heard stories about his camps, how hard it was.
Oh my gosh! I mean, Ivan, up to the day he officially retired, he was a machine. I mean, oh my God. And I know anytime I was in the ring with him, even in my early matches, I really knew how to be on my A game with Ivan because, I mean, he can go and go and go. I remember one time he was in the ring with Road Dogg, Jesse James, right?
Yeah.
And he was looking forward to being in the ring with Ivan, right? And then that night, he thought that he was in shape. But afterwards, he came in the back and he was telling me, man, that old man blew me up. Because Ivan was like all over the place, man. He was tough. But such a nice guy, man.
We all are nice. We all nice. We got to be tough, though. You can't go in the... People think wrestling is just a bunch of non-hard-working, beer-drinking guys. They don't realize just how hard we work. Just to get in the ring to work a match for them.
They have no clue. No clue.
So speaking of that, your debut was in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, right?
Yeah, I've been in the Indies for a few years, and finally I had opportunity to go to Smoky Mountain Wrestling, which was kind of like my first territory, if you will. And at the time, it was Smoky Mountain Wrestling was like a liaison between WCW and WWE, where talents intermediate right there in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. So you had a mixture of veterans and guys like myself trying to break in, young up and comers and everything. And it was a great learning experience too, because I learned a lot from the veterans, as well as being a part of that upcoming generation of wrestlers.
Who did you wrestle that night?
Oh my gosh. There's been so many, man.
I'm talking about the debut match.
The debut match. My debut match. I think it was Jimmy Golden. Was my first, and him and Robert Fuller were teaming at the time. Tennessee Stud Stable.
What was your gimmick then?
Robbie Eagle. Matter of fact, they would rib me and call me Baby Steiner because I would have the medals a Letterman's jacket with the medals and everything, which was that was a shoot. That was legit because I was wrestling with the USA Freestyle Greco-Roman circuit, before I really broke into pro wrestling. So
you was a shooter. You was a
yeah,
shooter.
pretty much.
Listen, I only recognize you. Really, I saw your work in the ring. I knew you were good, a great wrestler, but you were so nice. I couldn't see you shooting on anyone. And your gimmick was such like outrageous gimmick. But now I understand where that Maestro gimmick came from. Tell us about
Yeah.
your uncle. Tell us about your uncle. Who
Oh
is
my.
that great uncle?
Oh, Gorgeous George, man. And that I can't say enough about him. And I mean, it's because of Gorgeous George we have pro wrestling on the television map, if you will. I mean, he pretty
Exactly.
much transcended wrestling, the Hollywood, sports, entertainment. I mean, you name it.
Muhammad Ali said that's how he got his whole gimmick from. That's
Yes,
how he
sir.
got his entertainment side from, by watching your uncle.
Yeah, and it was really cool when we had the chance to work with James Brown, and he would tell me stories about how Gorgeous George influenced him, right? And it was really, it was. I mean, I got goosebumps just hearing about stories he would tell.
And see, nobody really talk about that. Nobody talked about how your uncle came in and changed wrestling. He made wrestling entertaining. He made wrestling entertaining. You didn't just
Hmm.
watch big guys get in there, pound on each other. You watch a person with charisma, the way he talked, the way he walked around the ring. He just, it was like watching a movie,
Yes.
to the fact that Muhammad Ali, James Brown said this guy was their favorite wrestler.
Wow.
So what did you take from him?
Well, I inspired me to don the name Gorgeous George III for a while, until I came in WCW, and of course, eventually became the Maestro and everything. Where I would have, just like him, I'd be very elaborate, very flamboyant, have the robes, have the Georgie pins, have the spray, the whole nine, right? And it was uncanny watching old tapes of him. And I'm looking at him, it's like, God, man, he so favors me in the face. Oh my God, it's eerie, man. It's eerie.
Well, when did you come up with the Maestro gimmick?
Well, I had been with WCW about a year in.
Let's back up a minute. How did you get into WCW, and who brought you in, or who did the connection? How was the connection made?
Well, the first connection was made when I was in Puerto Rico wrestling for Carlos Colon, WWC.
Oh yeah.
And I was roommates with Sean Morley, Val Venus at the time. And I'm watching the E Channel one day there in San Juan. And Sean picks up the phone and he just looks at me. It's for you. I'm like, okay, who is it? And I thought he was ribbing me at first. It's like, it's Randy Savage. And he really talks like that. I mean, not get out of here. Get out of here. I thought he's ribbing me again, right? So I grabbed the phone and I said, hello? And he said, hey, how you doing? I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes. And turns out Jerry Jarrett put him on to me because I had worked with Memphis, prior to that. And and Randy was inquiring about me through Jerry Jarrett. And Jerry put in the good word for me. And even Hogan wanted to fly me out for Nitro to break the ice and see what I could do, because at the time they were wanting me to bring me in, but like use the name for Lanny Poffo, Randy's brother, and bring me in under a whole new deal, right?
Yeah.
And which my draw match was good that night once I flew out. I mean, they gave me a plane ticket to fly out to the Nitro, and I think it was in Virginia, I believe, for that one. And I had a match with Jeff Farmer that night.
Oh yeah, I remember Jeff, yeah.
Yeah.
Jim was a
And
good hand. Good hand.
oh yeah, and I got to meet Hogan and Bischoff and Paul White. He went to high five me. Darn near took my hand off that night, but it's a big kid, But
Paul White was big show. Big show.
yes,
Yeah.
sir. And so, but nothing came of it for some reason or another. So I went back to doing what I was doing, and I was with Jake Roberts for a bit in AAA. I was in the Tripomania that year. I think it was '97, and we were in a main event for that year's Tripomania in Mexico. And we came back. I came back to the States and started doing some wrestling in Texas with a lot of the old school world class guys like Black Bart, Wilbur Irwin, and Lance Farnerick, I believe. And I got a call. I got hold of Randy again, and he set me up for another tryout match. And this time, it was another Nitro, and this time the tryout match was Chavo Guerrero Jr., which I couldn't have been happier because I'm much respect and love for the Guerrero family. I mean, we used to pray together before matches and everything.
Oh yeah.
And yeah. And afterwards, we're in the back, and we're pretty happy with the match. And of course, the agents all come in and they tell you all these different stories. Said, yeah, if the match is right, if you could have done this or could have done that, and you really didn't know who to believe, right? And I kind of referred back to my grandpa told me, and which ironically, my grandpa and my granduncle used to train together. They were boxing before he got into wrestling, right? And my grandpa would always tell me, he said, always know who the boss is, right? So fast forward, right? All these agents telling me this and that, and I'm all confused. And here comes Eric Bischoff. He walks in the room, right? And he looks at, Chavo and myself and says, good match, guys. And looked at me and said, we can use a good talent like you. Welcome aboard.
Wow.
And as soon as he says that, all the agents changed their tune, like, "Oh, great match!" It was awesome. Yeah. I think, okay, I now know if there was a problem, I know who to go to. I knew who the boss is, right?
Eric Bischoff. Eric Bischoff was the boss, man.
He was the guy, yeah.
So who was the first guy you worked in the business in WCW?
In WCW, well. Actually, before I got signed, I was off and on doing nightly shots with WCW.
Okay, all right.
And which I had opportunity to get in the ring with Sting and Cactus Jack, and actually Bagwell back when he was teaming up with Tuco Scorpio.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
So, but you wasn't the Maestro.
No, not then. No, I was still Robbie Eagle. That was years ago.
You were just a plain old wrestler. I'm talking about when you put that Maestro. Listen, you nice just like you are now, but when you put that your kit on, your Maestro kit, you became somebody else.
Literally.
When you put on the gimmick, man. Your Maestro was real in your life. You were totally different. I loved it.
Yeah. You know what? I can't even look at myself back then, like now, and not keep a straight face. It was like, wow, that did just happen. You know what I mean?
Hey, do you know we had a pay-per-view, and without a lockup, we probably had the best episode on the pay-per-view?
Yes.
You and James Brown.
That was amazing. My God, that roof came off in the Pacao Palace, man.
That's what I tell people. They just don't realize, bro. Listen, when we was in the ring and we were doing what we were doing, we have been doing the whole month. We don't know if James Brown gonna be here. Nobody said anything. We knew he was back in the back, but none of the fans did. Mm-hmm. But when his music hit, and he came through the return, tell him it sent chills through my body. What did it do to you when that huge pop?
Oh my gosh, I must have had goosebumps all over. I mean, it was like a bolt of electricity hitting you when the eruption came, and at the time, I mean, all I could think of was I'm a huge Sanford Son fan, right? I grew up watching Sanford Son. When James Brown came out and showed himself, I guys did the whole Fred Sanford thing where I collapsed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you did. You did. When he came out, you looked up and grabbed the heart and collapsed to the floor like Fred Sanford. But
Yes.
man, but that listen, that was such a man. I mean, entertaining segment right there that people still talk about it. Did you have the opportunity to have a conversation between you and James Brown, just the two of you guys? Did you get to
Yes.
spend time with them? What was that
Yes.
like? What was
Oh,
that
that
like?
was amazing, amazing, and it's such a great, nice man he was. I mean, he would tell me old stories about him starting in the music industry, and told me stories about Gorgeous George and everything. And man, I just had to pinch myself at the time. I mean, I just couldn't believe I'm having this conversation.
How many people call you and ask you about that episode and being in there in the ring with James Brown?
Oh, they talk about it this day. It's amazing. I mean, all these years later, they still talk about that. I remember a funny story. I remember getting it back after all that was done that night, and I remember Vampiro coming up to me and he said that was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen.
Oh, hey, Sting did me the same way. And
Wow.
been around Sting, you know how cool and calm Sting is.
Yeah.
I had just left the ring. I was going back to the dressing room, and I was feeling good. And then Sting was on his way out. So we passed each other, and he looked at me, he said, Cat, that was probably the best thing on the pay-per-view. Real calm, and then he walked off. And I kind of stopped and said, what? Is he playing with me? But that's not Sting is. Sting is just
Yeah.
really laid back and calm and such a great person. He was telling the truth. He said, that was really good. He said, I
Right.
love it. Then he started doing my little music. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Sting really loved that part, man, and so did a lot of other people in this. Like I said, being able to just sit and talk to James Brown, like we had him right there, just sit down and talk to him, and he was willing to talk to. I know I had a great conversation with him. What about you?
Oh, same here. I mean, like I said, it was almost like I couldn't believe I'm sitting there talking to James Brown and sharing all these stories, and it was amazing. And a moment I always cherish.
Well, listen, I know you've been here for a while, man, and I just want to kind of reach out to you and bring you on, man. And is there anything you want to talk about? Because I can ask you a lot of questions,
Yeah.
but I just like to hear your story. You started out. I mean, your uncle it's Gorgeous George, and have you ever had any problem with anybody in the business?
I really, other than The Office at times, I
Hey,
don't think.
was that before the sale or after after the sale? When Vince
Uh,
McMahon came in, you were still around then, right?
yeah, yeah. Until not too far from the end, my contract had expired, and I was hearing how the company was bleeding financially and everything. And I remember JJ
Who,
Dillon.
oh, JJ. Who do you
Yeah,
think? Who fault was it? WCW died. What name would you throw out there?
oh my gosh. I think it was more than just one. Honestly, it
Yeah,
was
yeah, I know exactly.
quite a few. And I remember Ed Ferrara.
Oh yeah, I
Coming,
forgot all about it. Yeah.
yeah, coming up and saying that there were, after that successful James Brown, but that segment we did there at Super Bowl. I remember Ed Ferrara coming up to me and says, we're going to have, because they had to make plans for us for the next pay-per-view, right?
Yeah, yeah.
and they said he had to. They were going to scrap whatever they had planned for us, and I asked him, well, why? And first thing, because he said because some were complaining it was too over of a segment.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, they
And
did it backwards. Remember when we started to work that involved with you and I, we were
yeah,
kind of, you didn't like my James Brown lies and you called me a little lackey, and it was just fun. We were having a good time. We were going
oh
back to
yeah,
the Maestro music. I'll come out there and interrupt you. You'll start playing your classical music. Then I'll come out there with my loud James Brown music, tell you to turn that music out, get out the ring. It was fun. It was fun.
hmm
And people really buying into it. But the
oh
people that should have been more into it was the bookers in the backstage at WCW. They wasn't. But they couldn't
no,
stop us because it was good. So
yeah,
they did it backward. James Brown should have never came out that episode. He should have
hmm
never came out. It should have been something to where you and I had the opportunity to have a match, leave town or something like that. And James Brown could have came in and made the save. Hey, James Brown to be here next week and he gonna perform. Like we did a whole little dance routine in the ring together.
oh yeah, it was amazing.
There was so
And
much that they could have done with that, but I think at that time people were trying to save their job or trying to get as much as they could before they shut the business down.
oh yeah, yeah, oh my God, you remember the time they tried to make Big Mike Awesome be a cruiserweight? And finally Lance Storm had to tell him, dude, you're not a cruiserweight. Stop starving yourself.
Yeah. Mike also about man, that's the biggest one, the largest wrestlers backstage.
Yeah,
Mike also what about 6'4", 6'5", 260?
unbelievable.
Man. So people ask me why did they not promote James Brown being there?
Oh, and that was something Vince McMahon didn't even do at the time. He didn't even bring James Brown in. I mean, we were the only ones
To
to
do
do.
that.
Yeah.
Remember, we had a connection to someone that was in James Brown dance group. They saw what we were doing, and they said we will talk to James Brown, see if James Brown will come and show up and come to one of the matches. They didn't
Mhm.
even know we was in contact with him. They think, the girl called me back and said, "Hey, Cat, James Brown liked what he saw last Thursday. He said he'll come to the pay-per-view." They should have booked him for 2 pay-per-views. That would have been
Mhm.
probably one of the highest rating in the one of those pay-per-view, but they didn't.
Nah.
Now
Yep.
music. Let's talk about music since you've seen and love that classical music.
Mhm.
What kind of music you listen to? Who do you
You know,
listen to?
honestly, I listen to all types. Depending on the mood I'm in, more or less. Like R&B, a little bit of rock, a little bit of jazz. Jazz. I mean, whatever in the mood for. It depends on if I'm working out, if I'm casually driving around, etc. But yeah, I like all types. And I was kind of brought up in the industry through theater, right? I was
Yeah, I
very
know.
active theater for a while, in which I was in like Hamlet, Macbeth. I was in Cats on Broadway, in church plays. I played Moses in the church plays, the Ten Commandments, and you name it.
That's
But
why I thought you were gonna go after you. I don't think you signed with WWE at the time. It was a few wrestlers that I said, you know what, he going straight to Hollywood because this guy is such a great. I mean, you could tell by your in-ring presence when you was there doing the Maestro. It was like I'm telling you, it was night and day. You was this tough, rough, hard guy outside the ring. Then you get inside, you turn into this crazy musical, classical musical guy
yeah.
who didn't like James Brown. And who was your ballet? She was beautiful. Who was that?
uh, Alicia Webb, who was Rhea Shamrock in WWE at the time, and of course, she came over WCW with Symphony when she was
Yeah,
working with me,
Symphony.
and she was a sweetheart. I mean, a really nice lady.
Beautiful. I mean, do you guys still having the communication, or
Uh,
what is she
off,
doing now?
off and on. I know she's out. Last I heard, she was out in Arizona somewhere. Um, but I mean, like every now and then, I'll try to reach out. Which I haven't seen her, talked to her in quite some time. But as far as I know, from what I hear, she's doing well. I mean, last I heard.
Where Maestro, I mean, you're not in the ring no more. I mean, I know you opened a school, right? You got a wrestling school somewhere. You training people, or what are you doing?
Well, I stopped training people about 3 or 4 years ago. I had some circumstances beyond my control where I had to shut down, if you will, and I was getting ready to start back up, but then some things happened beyond my control, and I went through a rough time past few years with health and everything else. I pretty much lost everything.
Oh yeah.
And some of my family got involved with a scammer online, and then they end up coming after me because I was trying to protect them from the scam. And it was like they were grabbing everything they could to give money to this scammer. And unfortunately, they came after me, and I literally I lost my house, my training center, my land. I was put out with a family will, you name it. And then after that, I went to a bad depression, which led to the coma and the surgery and being poisoned. And I was about a dangerous environment where not only some of the families turned on me for this scammer, which they've never met their life, being catfished by this scammer, but there was supposed friends that weren't friends that eventually collaborating with the family that were trying to take me out a commission, if you will, more or less. And that it was like a perfect storm combination of the devil coming after me in all different ways. And I was left and abandoned in a shelter near a hospital in Dallas, Texas. And in which, I was trying to reach out as many people as I could, because, I mean, at the time I had memory loss from the coma, and which they were telling me through time I would get my memory back, which I did. And then I was trying to reach out to friends. I've reached out to Stevie Ray a few times, and a few others, and I was trying to reach out to more, but it was like, it was tough. I will, but finally, a friend of mine got me out of that situation, because I was in the danger of this environment every day. My life was in danger pretty much every day. I was around some very bad people, and along with my health failing and all that. But luckily, I got out of there, and I'm in much safer out there in October. This past October, I got out. I'm in a much safer place, and I'm in the right direction, with the good doctors helping me out. And I'm like I said, I'm still kicking out, and fighting back. And
Do you have any kind of GoFundMe? I mean, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you to help you, how would they do that? I mean, let us know. Let the fans know. There's
yeah,
people out there.
I got a GoFundMe link. I can send it to you.
Yeah, or you could just tell us now. If you know it now, we can put it out,
Well, it should be under my name.
Okay.
Rob Kellum.
Mm-hmm.
And on GoFundMe, it's Please help with medical and travel. Is in what's this entitled? But it's got by Rob Kellum,
Mhm.
and you'll see should see my GoFundMe page, but it's under Rob Kellum GoFundMe.
Okay, yeah, we see it right now. We got it up right now.
Oh, that's it.
And you know, we really want to you know, we're the Cat's Corner, man. I know we might have some fans that might want to send you something or send something out for you. Listen, go to his, and this right now is under, it's your YouTube channel, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Okay.
it's on my YouTube.
Okay, so you know, hey fans, you guys, you know, this got to entertain you guys, millions of fans. Sometimes we got to give back, and when I say we, I'm a fan too of yours. I asked you to come on this show, The Cat's Corner, because was interested in your story, and I'm still praying that you know everything that you're going through is all behind you. So if it's something we can do here, right now we can start with just getting out the word. You
Oh,
know, let's go help Rob Kellum.
oh, thank you so much. But God bless you. I mean, I know you referred earlier about getting into like films and movies. I've done some series and movies. Since WCW.
Oh yeah.
I've done some appearances. I appeared on Sleepy Hollow on Fox, Secrets and Lies on ABC, Good Behavior on TNT, and One Tree Hill.
So where are you now as far as your health? I mean, are you up and out? You down? I mean, what are you doing now? What can you do and what can you not do? Are you're not stabilizing the bed or anything? Or what? Can you still go out to meet people, see people?
Yeah, I've been. Well, I got injured last year when I was poisoned 3 times, and
Mhm.
I have a bad foot injury and I had foot surgery a few times, in which I had another surgery last week, but I'm showing signs of improvement now, and with this last week's surgery, so it will help speed up the healing process. So hopefully, I'll be able to walk more soon. I mean, I can little now, but I've been trying to stay off my foot
Yeah.
with the injury and that, and I still struggle with PTSD from the past few years with everything happening and different things. But I'm on
Have,
the
have you ever reached out to like companies like WWE or AEW? Have you ever reached out to them to help you? Because you know WCW were purchased by WWE, and
right,
from what I understand, anything that's kind of relatable to WCW, WWE took it on. So they may
right.
have something there that can kind of shine some light on some stuff you need.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. I at the time when everything went down, I was in panic mode, and I just didn't know who to turn to or what. And but
Well, I'm, I mean, I hope things are all behind you, man. And like I said, I'm glad to see you and to talk to you. And you know, we're here at the Cat's Corner to help you do anything. Just reach out to us, and we'll do something. We're gonna put the word out there that you know, another wrestler needs some help.
thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
That means
Well,
more to me than you'll never know.
yeah. Well, brother, listen here, man. I want to thank you for coming on, man. I know you've been on for a while. You sat through the first one, but I'm really thankful that you came on and I got to see you.
Oh, same here. It's been way too long.
Yeah, yeah. So Maestro, you have a Facebook page, you got a YouTube page, you got a Instagram. I mean, what can people kind of contact you at? I see the
Well,
YouTube up here.
right. Yeah. Of course, youtube.com/@Stro Maestro. Facebook at Stro the Maestro. On X @ the Stro. I'm on TikTok at Rob Kellum. And I'm on IMDb too. Just type in Rob Kellum on IMDb. See I'm on my filmography, all the films and movies I've done, and
Okay,
everything.
we got all that too, man. And you got to get your acting boys together because I know a couple of friends in Hollywood too. I got a couple of friends in LA. They may need old Maestro to come back out and be a part of their TV show or movie. I'm gonna look out. All right.
Thank you. I'd be honored.
Okay, all right then, brother. Well, hey, like I said, thanks for being here, man, sharing your time and your life stories. And I mean, thanks for coming on here at the Cat's Corner podcast.
Thank you so much. God bless you. Love you, brother.
All right. I'll talk to you soon, Maestro.
Oh, please do. Thank you.
All right, brother. Talk to you later.